perfect heart of God. In the perfection, the heart remains perfect. It has to remain perfect because it is the center of the universe. Humanity has done everything that it can to camouflage the heart. It has done everything that it can to build a wall around the heart. It's humanity has had lifetimes and lifetimes to accomplish this. So that when we incarnate into the lifetime that we're incarnating into, no one has a clue how defended the heart is. No one has a clue how every every cell within the body system says protect and defend. Not even why it needs to be defended. Not no hints even of why it needs to be defended, except for the ongoing story that keeps on unfolding within each beloved's life that says, this is a place of battle. This is a place of lack. This is a place of suspicion. And even those ways of looking at the world are considered to be just and right. When we incarnate, it seems that everyone who begins the journey of remembering or not remembering here believes the world is a difficult place. And that is what humanity has made in the belief of battle and separation. But all the while, the heart is intact. The mind of God is intact, but just sleeping. And then the awakening begins. And usually it's the call that comes in the middle years, maybe. Doesn't matter when. But the question is always, what's going on here? There must be another way. And every beloved who feels that begins to search. And luckily, all the masters that have left their mark on humanity through their teachings, through their disciples, everyone has, every master, every teaching from every master is so similar because the answer is all the same. The answer is love. The answer is to open the heart. And they may not use those words. They may have different words that they use. But as we walk in the journey of remembering, all those masters affirmed for me that there was only one answer. That the universe, God, love is all that there is, and that there is no sin, there is no wrongdoing. To truly embrace that only errors or mistakes are what are occurring is the beginning of opening the heart. It's how the heart begins to hear the voice of love somewhat from a distance, saying, come out, come out. Let go of the protections, let go of the defenses, and bring your heart forward and give your mind back to God, to be used only for love. And every master calls to every beloved in similar ways. And then the journey truly begins of having the courage to open the heart and to cleanse the mind and give the mind back to God. And to see each beloved as yearning to remember. Even when those beloveds aren't aware that they are yearning to remember. All beloveds who have answered that call consciously are being called to hold that truth for the beloveds who are not aware of that calling yet, but it's already stirring within. To hold to hold the truth for other beloveds is the act of charity. Charity that is the greatest gift. The quiet place of holding truth while the world spins in its upside downness. And bringing love, bringing forgiveness, bringing peace to every situation. That is the healing of the heart that each beloved will walk through. Most don't even know why they're protecting the heart. How would anyone know that except that it seems to be this vulnerable place that holds so much. But as the heart opens, it isn't the experience that you might think that you would have. As the heart opens and as you are willing to have the heart open, there is a blessed grace that comes with it. Because no one is ever alone in opening their heart. No one heals alone. The teachings that are held as your pathfinder, those teachings are always with you. You may think of teachings being words written on paper, but they're so beyond that. They are a vibration of love that goes with you. Every time you have a thought, just a thought that is a spiritual teaching. There's a beloved who has embraced, you could, I could see peace instead of what I'm seeing. That beloved embraced that particular teaching, and it goes with her everywhere she goes. And it could be 20 different teachings would go with her everywhere she goes. There's no limit. But to realize that these teachings that seem to be words on a page are alive, and they are the energy field of the master who offered the teaching. The vibration of teachings has no limit to its power. Once you take in a teaching, like I could see peace instead of this, that truth, that teaching is embedded in your energy field. You could reject the teaching and maybe it would go away. But it doesn't seem to, because the Holy Spirit recognizes that during the journey, the spiritual journey for each beloved is going to go on a somewhat of a roller coaster ride. In the roller coaster ride, fear will show up and difficulties that seem to come from the outside, or old things show up that may have been forgotten but were held as pain, held as difficulty. And all of those teachings that you have invited in are there. They are all your friends. They are all the gift of God that serves you and helps you return to sanity whenever it's needed. And those teachings, those vibrations of love, begin to cleanse the mind and the heart, because they are truths that have to cleanse. The truths are, by their very nature, created for cleansing, created for healing. And their power you not only carry with you, you also have the power within those teachings to serve others, to even extend that vibration of that teaching through your energy field. So let's say you're with a beloved and they are having a difficulty, and you're holding the teaching, I could see peace instead of this. All you have to do is hold that within your heart and your mind, and you hold it for the beloved, and you express and demonstrate peace in your energy system, and they they receive that. They receive the peace that you are affirming through that sacred teaching. That vibration is active, and that vibration is a divine being. It's the master that brought that teaching, and their mighty companions that go everywhere with them. But you have the power of these sacred teachings within you. They are yours as if they came to you firsthand, never through somebody else, but straight from God, because they did. The power of those teachings are your mighty companions, the mighty companions of love that will never, never fail you. Their power is beyond comprehension in this world. And we think, okay, how does a teaching transform? But the way that the universe looks at it, the way the humanity looks at the teachings, is that they're written words, and many times they're used in a more traditional way that people use teachings from books or just ideas from books. But I promise you that the vibration of the truth of these teachings, of all teachings that are the truth, have a power to heal humanity, and that you have the power to bring with you wherever you go, moment to moment. Should it make a difference that when you're aware of the teaching, I am the light of God, should it make a difference in your awareness of your strength? It can. It has that power that every day you accept that you are the light of God. And you rest in that truth, but at the same time, it lifts you and it is your strength. And it becomes the strength of everyone that you encounter that day. That isn't necessarily how the sacred teachings were meant to be used, but that is their divine purpose. Their aliveness. The truth is alive. The lies of the world are not alive. The lies of the world that say scarcity is true, lack is true, pain is true, battle is true, all of those do not have that power. But love has that power. And love is the power that is being called to be used. It is the strength of truth, the light of truth, and you bring it with you. you're always walking with the mighty companions of truth. And in that truth is rest. So as we rest now, and rest is in every moment, resting in the light of love, affirming that there is only love, and affirming that the universe is all love, and that we choose to affirm the life force of God. That life force of love is in every teacher. You carry the life force of God within you, and you spark that life force of God within you with sacred teachings, because they are your companions. They are the power of love. There is never not enough sacred teachings to hold you in the everyday life. They are always present. We affirm the life force of God because we live in that life force by conscious choice. And when we accept that life force of love, we accept oneness. And we invite healing. Come along, brother, let's go on this path of light and love. Come along, sister, let's go on this path of light and love with our Father and our Mother, and letting all pain go. Let us pray and work for this goal. It's the task of our lives. I see the Spirit, I see my soul, I see the light in me. As my heart opens like a flower, I become the living God. I created, I am created within the oneness of all. I create and I am created within the oneness of all. I see the Spirit, I see my soul, I see the light in me. This is the declaration that brings the happiness of your soul is perfect, your spirit is divine and one, and that's all that there is. This hymn that I'm going to sing um, was the last hymn that Jose authored. So it's the last hymn that he received, and he received it very, very close to the time that he was leaving the body. But it affirms all of us together with praise of the heart, because that was his calling to everyone on the path of the divine. We open our hearts so that we can be love. On the paths of the truth, everyone is called to pay attention so that we can all be together and praising in the truth of love. Let us all surrender to the heart of our Divine Mother. This is a moment of humility, of forgiveness, and of charity. Let us all keep moving in this moment of truth, affirming the charity, the truth of love. We follow the truth, all of us united, singing and dancing so that the divine will materialize. Let us all go on this path of love itself, living from our faith, affirming the truth of all divine masters. And my Divine Mother, you are the comfort. You bring love and faith and help in the everyday life of love. Nos caminhos do Senhor Jesus Cristo Redentor, abriu nosso coração para podermos seu amor. Nos caminhos da verdade há que prestar atenção, para estarmos todos juntos para louvar o coração. O coração de Maria, vamos todos entregar. Esta hora da humildade, do perdão e caridade. Vamos todos nos seguir nesta hora da verdade. Temos o Santo Cruzeiro para afirmar e caridade. Vamos seguir a verdade, vamos todos reunidos. Vamos cantar e bailar para o divino materializar. Ó Virgem Mãe Divina, pois sois o conforto meu. Dai amor, fé e saúde para podermos chegar. Singing and dancing so that the divine will materialize. This is the singing and dancing of the heart. And in the heart, the divine does materialize completely. The stairway of existence. We are not in pursuit of formalities or fake religious laws. For through the stairway of existence, we have come to God's door. We are beloveds who need to love because love is the soul's life. Love is simply creation's joy. Through the stairway of existence, through the stairway of existence, Have you now come? Have we all now come to the beloved's door? And the door is open for everyone in every moment in the quiet. We are not in pursuit of formalities or fake religious laws, that is for sure. But how many beloveds in this moment are looking for the divine's door? And the more that each beloved that embraces the truth holds that door, it's held for all the beloveds that are not sure that the door will open. In this journey of love, the stairway of existence, every beloved is learning to trust. And it's not an automatic. The trust has been in the world. Trust was learned in the world. We learn to trust give and take, right and wrong, more or less, particularly right and wrong. And all of it gets surrendered. And a deep trust starts to build that the divine will lead the way and show the way. And it's probably the greatest leap of faith that has been in learning to trust. It is a leap of faith because it has no experience with it. It has no oh, I did this before and now I can do this again. Every place of trust is new. It's new and it's unknown. And that is the place that holds the greatest resistance, is the unknown, because the knowing in the world is so revered. I was looking at the knowing and how in the everyday life, and everybody can check in within in this, because there is a place within that is all very, very close, maybe not completely, but that there is an addiction to knowing, especially about others. It doesn't matter who it is, and it doesn't matter what it is even, but there's something in the ego that says, if I know something about somebody else, I will be stronger. But it doesn't bring strength, it brings confusion. What is it that you could possibly know about somebody else that would be a place of strength? It just isn't possible. And strength is a word that may not be seen as totally correct. Doesn't make you feel like you have a lot of physical strength, but it's used so many times as a idea of with this awareness or this knowing about something about somebody else, that you have power, that there is a power that comes and of knowing something about somebody else. But in truth, it actually is the opposite. As soon as we latch on to knowing something about somebody else as if this is information that is real, all it does is make more confusion and more fear. Let's say somebody says to you, one of my legs is shorter than the other. Now, that wouldn't be any big old deal one way or the other to know that about somebody else. But you hold it in a way that it either makes you think that you're closer to that beloved because you know something about them, or that you can figure them out better. And this is the major thing, is that there's a belief in the world that we all need to figure out the makings of others, like what makes them tick, what makes them live as they live. But the information does absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Whether somebody has a leg that's shorter than the other, or they have they didn't graduate from college like they said that they did, or it doesn't matter what it is. You could name a million different things that you could know about somebody, and none of it means anything, except that the so many times the beloved that's holding the information feels a sense of power or a sense of pride of knowing that about someone. I've had many times that uh, some someone has told me something about somebody else, and I have no idea why I would need to know that about them. It makes absolutely no difference. But it's mostly the the belief that it does. The belief that if you know, let's say if you know what your neighbor does for a living, that somehow it it strengthens you, but it doesn't. It just keeps you from the deeper truth, and it's just a distraction. So I would say to every beloved to not seek out information about others. Only because of the confusion of it, and because it has no worth, it has no value. What else can we know about another that serves us to serve them? They are the light of God. If anything else needs to be seen, if there's anything helpful, then the Holy Spirit will will illuminate that. But is it something to go seeking for? No, not in any way. If there is something helpful, the Holy Spirit will show it. And it will be helpful for you to be able to communicate more deeply with that beloved. That would be the only purpose. I'm reminded of there's a beloved who lives next door. And it seems as if that beloved has a physical disability of some kind. Do I need to know what it is? Do I need to know about what happened to them? No, not in any way. If the Holy Spirit offers so that there can be a helpfulness, of course. But to have curiosity to know what is going on with the neighbor other than to help has no purpose. And yet it is one of the favorite elements of the ego is to know. The ego says if you don't know, you'll be very bored and you won't be bringing interesting information to anybody. But there's no information to bring to anyone unless it's actually to serve that beloved. It reminds me somewhat of if someone's in the hospital and they have nurses that are taking care of them and doctors, and those nurses and doctors give information to each other about their patients. And that is all extremely helpful. But I'm sure that every once in a while there's personal information that a nurse or a doctor could have because they can get aggravated with somebody that's in the hospital and they start making it personal. And then it loses its sacredness because that beloved that's in the hospital is there to be held as love, to be held as the divine. And the nurses and doctors may not realize that, may not be aware of that, but they have a certain clarity that holds them usually to what they need to know to serve that beloved. It may be that beloved that they would need to know that beloved has been upset about something because it might help them with their service to him or her. But in the regular life, there's not much that is called for to be known about anybody. Most of it just gets in the way and distracts from seeing the beloved, seeing the light. It's a calling back, because the temptation is to have the information. And you can feel it when you don't have the information, that when you're stepping back, that you're not going to have some information that you could have reveled in an ego kind of way. But there is also such a deep release and relief from not knowing. there's also the holding of that beloved as the light of God, and that whatever their story is has nothing to do with their journey of healing. And that you actually are assisting them so much more deeply when you refuse the information. It's a place of a study that says, I don't need to know anything other than what the Holy Spirit wants me to know. Sometimes, sometimes I have contacts with beloveds that I have no idea where they live, what they do, other than their name. I don't know anything about them. Their name and their wanting of love. And it's a beautiful place because I hardly ever learn anything else other than their spiritual journey. So if somebody asks me, well, who are you talking to? I almost have to say, I don't know, other than their name and their essence, their soul, their spirit. It isn't that they don't speak about some things, like they may say what they do for a living, but it, it doesn't get held as something that is needed, because each beloved is just the perfection in this moment, and nothing is needed. Nothing is needed. There's a beautiful teaching that says, in no situation that arises do you realize the outcome that will bring you happiness. And somehow that goes into that truth too. Under no circumstances do I could I realize what would bring me peace or happiness. But I can almost guarantee that it won't be information about someone's life. Every moment is just peace, is just harmony. And one of the elements of spiritual healing is that the mind starts getting emptied. And this is part of that. To empty the mind, to not have it cluttered with, first, all the rules that everybody has made up for themselves, letting go of those rules, and really entering into the laws of God and using the laws of God to navigate within the world. The question that goes with that is, what do I think I know, and how does it serve me? That question in the everyday life is what brings healing. There's a place that is not readily recognized. So everybody has a family. Everybody has a family of origin that they incarnated with, and that family is where most of the information is, at least that you carried with you. But the spiritual journey is actually calling, and I certainly walk through this, that every single beloved from that family of origin, I have to set free. I have to set them all free. Set them free because I cannot hold the story and give them the story that I already had about them when I don't know their journey. I truly don't know their journey. That's not a place of lack. It's a truth. How could I know their journey? They did not live the story that I lived, even though they were a part of it in some way. They have their own history, their own life story of incarnation, of lifetimes of walking the earth and trying to find their way to the truth of who they are. And as I hold them in that sacred light, I don't I am not restricted by giving them a story. I want to see them only as the light of God that they are. And everyone that way. And when you hold that intention in your heart, and those sacred truths go with you in your life, it's such a blessing to realize that you can be free of having to know the history or whether one beloved's leg is shorter than the other or anything else, that none of it has anything to do with the truth of them. Maybe if you were a doctor or a nurse, you would need to know that their one leg is shorter than the other, but other than that, it's not anything that you need to keep or have because it doesn't serve them and it doesn't serve your remembering. The authority of God is very simple. It's almost like God says, show me what you've got. Show me all the stuff that you're carrying around with you. And you open up your mind and you show God your thoughts and what you've carried. And God just cleans it out. He says, no, I don't think you need any of that stuff. You're going to remember that each beloved is the light of God. You're going to remember that every beloved is perfect and whole and innocent and has done nothing. You're going to hold every beloved as their magnificent self, and you're going to rest there. You're going to rest there, and you're going to feel the joy of not carrying all the stuff in your mind about anything. Just the peace and the harmony that God is asking you to remember. There's a prayer that the prayer of patience patience, and trust are one, and your true faithfulness does not deviate from holding you in peace, it just can't. It can't deviate because faithfulness just says, I can walk this way and God will walk with me. And all of those sacred teachings go with you and hold you, and there's never anything in that that's out of balance. Only love. There's a let's see if I can find this. I had a prayer that I wanted to share, but it's disappeared.